Fudo, Fudo number 3.8. It's the long-term support version. Today we will hear two of our great team members, Blazej Marciniak, who is our product director, along Michal Borowicz, our support engineer, who will describe the upgrade process of Fudo 3.4 to 3.8 and the new features available now in the Fudo solution. Hello guys, if you have any questions, please ask them in a relevant tab below. If you have any problems with your browser, do you see us, do you hear us? If everything's okay, that's just fine. If you have any problems, try reloading your browser or possibly disabling some of your plugins. If everything is running right now, I will give the voice to Blazej Marciniak, who will introduce you the idea of Fudo 3.8. Blazej, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name is Blazej Marciniak. I'm a product director of Fudo, of Wheel Systems, and I'm in charge of all product development for Wheel Systems product line. So Fudo and other products, which I want to tell you a bit later. So here today, we're going to introduce you to 3.8 version of Fudo, our most advanced version. Long support version means we're going to stick with it for a long period of time. Previous version was 3.4. Previous long-term support version was 3.4. And this upgrade will cover the process from 3.4 to 3.8. If you have earlier version than that, please get in touch with us and we will guide you through the proper upgrade procedure. So today we have a couple of things that will be improved in 3.8. So we vastly improved our DB protocols, Citrix, Active Directory for nested objects. We introduced translation to Russian for our Russian customers and partners. There are some improvements in interface, so we're more responsive. And we introduced also step-by-step replication for clusters. In 3.8, we're introducing 11 new features we're going to talk to you today about. And two of those most important ones is for Eyes Authentication and support for multiple domains. These are the two stars of the show. So I'm going to pass along my floor to the Michal, our support engineer, that will guide you through the upgrade process and will demonstrate all the features. Michal, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, it's Michal Borowicz from Wheel Systems. Today I'm gonna show you the upgrade process and the configuration overview of our new features in version 3.8. So now I will turn off my camera and please focus on my screen. Of course, we need to log into administrative panel. So here I am. We need to go to the System tab first, go to the Upgrade. Of course, the first thing that we need to check that is important is to check the condition of the device. So you need to be sure that your device is not doing anything with the data storage matrix. So please confirm that in your dashboard, the disk statuses are marked as green color, that there are any active sessions, not to disturb anyone's work, and of course, ensure that you are running version 3.4. In case of using some different versions, you need to ask your partner or ask directly the Wheel Systems support team about upgrading process to version 3.4 first, and then we could perform the upgrade to version 3.8. Okay, now I have uploaded the file, and we have the new feature which could make the dry run of the upgrade process. So we are running the upgrade check, which will show us the estimated time for the upgrade process. We need to wait for a while because all of the scripts are being applied as a dry run instance of the database. Wait for a while. Okay, and our estimated upgrade time is about 3 seconds. If the upgrade check has been run successfully, we could go further to upgrading process. This process will, of course, require the rebooting of the machine. So it means that if you are running the physical appliance, you need to insert the encryption key, the USB key to your device, or in case of using the virtual machine, you will be asked to put the password for the disk decryption during the boot process. I'm doing that upgrade on the physical appliance. So in my appliance, I've got the one USB stick inserted, and now we are waiting for the reboot of the machine.
Taking this opportunity when the system is rebooting, I want to talk to you today about something that we are working on and we could use your input on. There is a release 4.0 coming up later this year that will introduce prevention module. Prevention is something we've been working for quite a while and is based on artificial intelligence technology. Essentially, we're going to introduce a tool to collect biometrics from how the users use the system, the way they type, the way they use the keyboard, the way they move their mouse. So the system can be building a profile for each user and will be able to compare the way the user is using the system right now to the previously recorded patterns. Then AI will be able to point to you if the session is odd. For example, out of the ordinary, user is behaving differently. For example, typing speed has increased dramatically. So that might indicate that it could be a bot, not a real person using that account. This is one of the examples that AI can really help mitigate possible threats. So that's why we call it prevention. Also, we are looking for ways to augment our system into more active role. So if you have typical, that is repeatable, a situation where something is happening that can be prevented, please let us know, and we will strongly consider how implement that feature into prevention model of Fudo, because our goal with prevention is create a system that it will put out fires, not just pointing at them. So one of the examples of such a feature is silent alarm. For example, you can introduce certain mechanism, like there is certain keyboards or strokes or mouse movements that then can trigger a silent alarm, and then user can notify his superior or CSO of the company that something is wrong with that session. Like he's working on a server and he has suspicion that the server has been compromised because something is out of the ordinary, something is wrong. In this type of situation, Fudo can help, and we are looking for input from your side how to make it even better. So AI is coming late this year, probably end of the year, and obviously we want to focus on RDP first, the way the people use graphical interfaces, but also we want to work with the terminal station, SSH as well, because the way the users type of the keyboard is very unique to the particular user, and I believe that prevention will be a big step towards the Fudo future. So I think the machine is coming up now, so I'm going to pass the floor to Michal very soon. Right now, I would like to also ask you for your feedback on current user experience with Fudo, because we're continuously looking for ways to make Fudo better. We are working on the interface to make it more responsive, handle more traffic, more objects. And if you have some ideas, like this is a particular case from your perspective that can be improved, please let me know. I'm very open to suggestions how to make Fudo even better. So if you have such ideas, I'm very open to contact, and please get in touch with me directly via email or phone. So I'm not sure if the Fudo is ready.
Sorry, I was muted. Of course, yes, I'm ready.
Michal, are we ready?
When your device is upgraded successfully, we could move to the first feature that is on our list. The feature is called Eyes Authentication. So this is the module that allows you to make the which require approval for incoming sessions. So to configure that, please take a look on my screen. We are setting that feature for all of the accounts gathered in Safe. So let's go to the Safe, click Require Approval, save the object, and now during the session establishment, I will establish the SSH session. So during the session establishment, the session will be hanging and waiting for our response from administrator to accept or deny the session. So now I will establish such a connection for some test user, and I'm listening on Fudo IP address 236.240 on port 2222. And of course, I need to specify also the name of the destination host. So 10.0.50.6.20. Now I'm authenticating against Fudo. And as you could see, the session is hanging. The authentication of the user was correct. But in here, you could see that we've got two possible options to choose. We could accept or deny the session. Now we are accepting the session. And of course, the session is now established. You could take the live preview of that session. And of course, everything works the same like in previous versions. So we have the live preview of the session. We could join to it or make some interaction with the user. Of course, we could also terminate such a session and block the user automatically. Okay, so it was the first feature that we have prepared for you for today.
Just one thing here, Michal. The session approval process can be done through Fudo panel, but also will be available through the mobile app that we'll be releasing very soon. So you will be able to approve or deny session right from your phone. Back to you, Michal.
Okay, there was also some changes, especially about defining the servers. So now we could move to my window. Please take a look at our configuration. There is a new icon presented in here. So if your server was defined as one specific host, of course, it's now marked as a host with the 32 bits subnetwork. So it means that now we could specify the destination hosts network. So it means that we are looking for all of the hosts that will be in that subnetwork and with the protocol chosen in the top of the panel. So now, for example, I have the configuration for SSH server. So I am looking for every SSH server in network 10.0.0.0 and 16-bit network mask. And all of the connections will be established from that IP address. So during the when we are preparing such a configuration, we just need to of course, to specify what is the destination IP. It was like it used to be on the first test. So I'm using the Bastion mode. So we are specifying the destination host the same like it was in version 3.4, and of course the session establishment will be exactly the same. So this is about configuring the network of the destination host, not by particular hosts, but defining the whole subnetwork where we are looking for the hosts. Okay, so I think we could move to the next feature.
So next feature is network aggregation and support for packet capture. So back to you, Michal.
Okay, please move to our screen. To prepare the network aggregation, of course, I wish you have prepared the proper configuration for your Ether channel on the switch. So now I'm just showing the configuration of how to aggregate the links on Fudo. So to perform this action, you need to go to network configuration, go to the link aggregation, choose the physical network interfaces that need to be bonded with each other, and assign IP of the new interface, of the new aggregated interface. Of course, you could choose that this one interface could be the management one, or it could be just the interface without any portal or any management features, just to handle the connections from the users or from the servers. So to the server. So it's up to you. So this configuration looks very easy. I think we could move to the next step. Okay. As it was mentioned in our document, we have also introduced the feature which is called PCAP. So in the what does it mean? What we are catching? What we could record? So it means that we are able to record any kind of TCP traffic. So in my case, I'm connecting to some TCP socket opened on my computer. So let me open that. So we are opening the netcat. I'm listening on port 9999. So Fudo will be connecting to that IP on port 9999. So I will be connecting to my computer. Of course, we need to specify the suitable account for that. In my case, because I don't have any kind of authentication for that process, so we will use the anonymous account. And of course, we need to specify the listener for our TCP protocol. In that case, this is the proxy listener. It must be the proxy listener because I just wanted to redirect the traffic only for one host. So also I'm using the proxy mode, and in here my configuration for my TCP listener and TCP account. So they are combined with each other. There is no user because this is the anonymous. And let's connect to our, this is my listening window. So now I will try to connect to using the telnet to our Fudo 0236240 on port 1234. Now we could see that the session has been established. So hello Fudo. And of course, in our listening socket, we could get that message. We are able to receive the packets that were transferred. Of course, all of that session will be recorded as a PCAP format. So what does it mean? We could export that session as a file, and to do it, we need to go to the session tab first, of course, and after that, you could download the session with the as a PCAP file, which is compressed with TGZ. Okay, I think we could move further to the next feature. And the next feature is, as far as I remember, data auditing for SFTP and SCP transmissions. I think that the best way to present it will be to open some SFTP client, like, for example, FileZilla or whatever you want. Here is my window. And we've got the configuration. The listening IP, the listening port. We need to specify the name of the user, special character, and the destination host. Of course, we will be asked for the password. The password is test. We need to connect. And for example, let's try to send some file with, this is some script, for example. I will terminate that session and take a preview of it. And now, as you could see, there is the full listing of what was made. You know what files were presented to the user, and there is, of course, possibility to download the file that was sent over such a session in here. So this is the inspecting for the file transfers in SFTP, SCP data file transfers. Okay, so now I think we could move further.
Yeah, that's one of the key features that we're introducing with 3.8, which is multiple Active Directory domain support. Because until now, Fudo was able to work only with one domain. So that was also a way that the people could log in. Now with multiple domains, login procedure would change slightly because there's either Fudo knows which is your default domain, and then the login procedure will look the same, or if you concurrently using multiple domains, the login procedure would change slightly, because before the user, there has to be also specified a domain. So Michal, please demonstrate.
Okay, so there is a small change about the way how the users will authenticate, and I will speak about in a few seconds. But first, let's take a look on the LDAP synchronization tab. So now, if you are running the cluster instance of Fudo, you could choose which node will make the synchronization process. So it's very important, especially in the installations where we've got a lot of users, and a lot of users are changed in a short period of time. So you could specify that, for example, the slave node will be doing the synchronization, and of course, this is the to improve the performance of the machine, which is currently the master. Okay, so as you could see, now we could specify more than one domain. So I've got the configuration for 2 domain controllers, as you could see in here, and the configuration looks very similar that in 3.4, but there we had only one domain. So what we just need to remember is that the group mappings need to be made for each domain. Of course, you need to specify what is the authentication source for the users which are synchronized, and that authentication source must be correct for the domain. So if we are synchronizing the users from domain training.vhl, of course, we have to prepare the we have to prepare the configuration for domain training.vhl, because this will be the domain controller which will be asked for the password verification for that user. If we take a look on the second domain, we got the different one, of course. So this is the completely different domain without any trust between them. So I'm letting the administrators from that domain the access to the portal and the access to my application X safe. And of course, the authentication source are set to domain qa.vhl. Okay, so what are the what has been changed? Please take a look. Now I will try to connect to the RDP session. So now I'm specifying the 10.0.50.60, and now I'm specifying the username from the domain. In that case, we'll use the user from domain training.vhl. So it could be Fudo ad2 at training.vhl, Fudo ad2, and now we are successfully logged to our session. So what has been changed? That you need to specify what is the domain during the connection process. It is very important because the same user could be existing in a different domain. So, for example, we could have user called test or service or whatever, and if the same user is existing in the one and another domain, we need to remember that there must be something which is differing that users, right? So this is that domain name. But if we want to log in as it used to be in version 3.4, we could of course specify the default domain which will be taken just by default. So we need to go to the System tab. And we could specify the default domain for our authentication process. In my case, it will be the training.vhl. Oh, we are opening the window again. And the same host, 10.0.50.60, Fudo ad2, and Fudo, oh, sorry. I have disconnected the session by mistake. So we have 10.0.50.60, Fudo ad2, and Fudo ad2. And the session is also established. The correct version of the login to your domain, of course, it could be the username at domain name. It could be the domain name / username. It's also correct. So there are both ways. And of course, you could set the default domain for user authentication and then specify no domain during the authentication process. I think that we could move a little bit further to the last feature that we wanted to show you. And
yeah, in this 2.8, we're also introducing support for custom root certificate, authority certification, and password protected certificates for SSL. So back to you, Michal.
Okay, so maybe let's start with the specifying the CA for the hosts. So because of some changes in the defining of the servers, so now we could specify the subnetwork of the servers. So we could not check the certificate because we are not discovering all of the network every time and checking if there is some new servers. So that's why we could trust for some CA. The best option is to, if we are specifying some subnetwork, like for example, like in here, then of course it should be the subnetwork, like for example this one, and you could upload the CA root certificate to verify if the certificate of the destination host is being signed with that CA. So this is the possibility to check the if the server is not any kind of man-in-the-middle attack try, or there's no one has changed the destination server's certificate. The next thing about the SSL certification and importing your own authorities is the listener configuration. So in the listener configuration, you could specify the passphrase for the private key in the certificate that you are importing. So as you could see, to the listener, so we are speaking about that first part of the connection, so between the user and Fudo. So we could import the certificate which Fudo will use to introduce itself against user. So we could upload that file in here. So it must contain the private key and the certificate. But some of the private keys are being encrypted with the password. And this is the place where you could specify that password for the private key in a certificate. So I think that's everything about those features that we have prepared for now. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
No, Michal, you're not wrong. So this concludes our 3.8 presentation. I hope you find it very useful, or at least useful. Please get in touch with us if you have any comments or ideas, especially regarding to things we mentioned. If you have any issues upgrading your Fudo systems, also please get in touch. We will definitely help you out. We totally test every release. Although systems is very complex and integration go really in a way that we cannot really test in a lab. As you know, tests can verify very certain amount of things, not every possible scenario. So please get in touch with us if you have any feedback on the 3.8 release. I hope you'll find it very helpful. Also, if you have any ideas about prevention and ideas that talk about putting out fires before they become ones, please get in touch with us. My direct email address is listed in the chat section, and also will be provided later in the email. So thank you again, and hopefully we hear from you very soon.